Hey YouTube, welcome back to the channel. It's Jamar from Vegas Scents, and in this video I'm going over another Zara fragrance. This is going to be Lush Vetiver by Zara. Alright, so if you're interested to know what I think about this fragrance, definitely stick around throughout the whole video. And also anyone brand new to the channel, do me a favor, go ahead and subscribe. Also anyone watching, leave a like and a comment. Alright, so Lush Vetiver, man. This is the third fragrance within, it's like a 4 fragrance sort of collection from Zara that they recently released. I want to say probably like back in August of this year, which had Lush Vetiver, Tobacco Sublime, I think is what the other one was called, Tender Amber, and then Spell Caramel. So I now have, this is again the third fragrance out of that line that I have. The only one that I don't have is Spell Caramel. And this is pretty much, this is a citrusy kind of dry, grassy sort of vetiver type of scent. And I know for some people, you know, when you hear that sort of description of the fragrance, it might turn some people off because that is more so kind of associated with more so of like a sort of mature type of smell. I would say that that's not necessarily the case though with this fragrance. This is not going to be something like as mature as, like, for instance, like Tom Ford Grey Vetiver, at least in my opinion anyway. This definitely, it smells more so kind of like a all ages sort of, you know, citrusy vetiver type of fragrance. So I would say any age from probably about 25 and up or so. So I mean, it's not necessarily going to be for, like, you know, the 18-year-olds or like a 16-year-old or something in high school. I would say they're probably not going to like this fragrance, but anybody that's basically like a grown man, I would say, would be able to appreciate the way that this smells. Now, the box presentation pretty much is the same that, you know, you get with the other fragrances, where, you know, you get this sort of sleeve on the outside, and then pretty much what you see is like the name of the fragrance in Zara, like in the middle here in the box. And then you've got the sort of quote on the back here from the perfumer, which this is by Gael Montero. And this pretty much, it says, a dive into the untamed beauty of nature to ignite the senses and inspire the soul. All right, and then on the back of the actual box that the fragrance sits in, you have the sort of family of fragrance that this falls into. So olfactive family, citrus, and then you've got the notes, which are bergamot, grapefruit, pepper, saffron, oak, patchouli, vetiver, leather, and musk. And pretty much, man, when you first spray this on, you do get like a mixture, I would say, of a slightly sort of tart grapefruit and bergamot. The bergamot definitely, you know, adds to kind of like the zing and freshness that you get to this fragrance. But I would say that you do sort of get like this really kind of dry, grassy green sort of vetiver in this fragrance as well. But it's not, in my opinion anyway, it's not like a super green, grassy sort of vetiver. Which that, in my opinion, it makes it to where this isn't like super like mature. I would say that this is it is definitely a masculine sort of fragrance. I think it is marketed as sort of like a unisex type of fragrance. I couldn't necessarily see a woman wearing this. This, I think, is definitely, if it is marketed as unisex, I would say it's more so kind of masculine leaning. But there are, I would say, parts of this fragrance that the fragrance kind of smells like different sort of fragrances depending on what stage you're in. So I would say in the beginning, it does sort of remind me of kind of like Roja Vetiver a little bit. Definitely not as smoky, I would say, as Roja Vetiver, but it sort of reminds me of kind of like a more sort of freshened up, sort of less mature, less, you know, refined version of that fragrance. So I would liken it to that. And then I would say in the sort of mid with this fragrance, It does start to sort of smell a little bit like Afternoon Swim by Louis Vuitton, just a little bit. I won't say that this is like a clone of that fragrance or anything like that, because it's absolutely not. But I would say I do sort of get Afternoon Swim sort of nuances from this fragrance, at least in the mid. And then, I mean, pretty much in the dry down. In the dry down, I can't necessarily liken this fragrance to any other sort of fragrance. For the most part, in the dry down, what I get is just a really sort of light, sort of green, almost kind of woody sort of, presence from this fragrance, at least in the far dry down. Now, in terms of like the performance with this fragrance, at least so far anyway, and I mean, I've had this fragrance for, I want to say maybe 2 weeks or so now. The performance is pretty average for this fragrance. So I would say you're probably going to get like around 4.5 to about 5, at the most, maybe 6 hours out of this fragrance. All right. I would say this is probably going to be one that, if you want to really get, good longevity out of it, you're probably better off spraying it on your clothes. But I mean, for the $35 that you pay for this fragrance, this is 100 ml and it is a refillable fragrance. I would say that the price is not too bad. I'm not too happy about the fact that this is about $5 more than the Tender Amber and Tobacco Sublime fragrances. Those were like $29.90. So I'm not really sure what's going on with that. But again, I mean, this is still a solid fragrance, in my opinion, if you like, sort of green, but at the same time, citrusy types of scents. For the most part, I would say that this is strictly, in my opinion, going to be like more of like a spring and summer type of fragrance. Definitely more so kind of like on like late spring, once it's really started to warm up. And definitely, I would say like in the high heat of summer for sure. All right. Projection also on this is not super crazy. I would say, at least so far anyway, I'm probably getting at least about a half an arm's length for like maybe like the first hour and a half or so. And then it dies down to pretty much like a skin scent for the rest of the duration that you have the fragrance on. So this is not going to be like a super beast mode performer, but it does smell very good. It really does. All right. So I would say definitely check this one out from the line as well. Especially if you're someone that likes to pick up Zara fragrances, this is a solid pickup. And again, this is going to be Lush Vetiver from Zara. All right. So let me know what you all thought of my assessment of this fragrance. Have you all smelled Lush Vetiver from Zara? Also, have you all smelled any of the, other fragrances from this particular collection that has this same sort of bottle type? Let me know what you all think about these fragrances. Do you like them? Do you hate them? Are they just okay to you? Let me know what you all think, man. All right. So again, if you're brand new to the channel, do me a favor, man. Go ahead and subscribe. Also, to anyone watching, leave a like and a comment on the video. And once again, that's Jamar from Vegas Scents. I'll see you on the next video.